This is Eileen and Trevor Bill. We're with Hotel Talk. And today I'm really happy to introduce you to a power couple, Darren Jacklin, and he's the co-founder of Link Foundation and Business Development. And then we have beautiful Tatiana Mersiadis, and she's CEO and co-founder of Link Foundation. They have an upcoming fundraiser that I'd love for them to talk about today called A Night in Africa, Game in the World Gala. So I will let the two of you tell us, what is that all about?
Sure. Well, I'll start and share with everyone around the world listening. So my background for 25 years, successfully trained, developed over 1 million people in 48 countries on 4 continents as a corporate trainer. And currently I serve on a couple of public and private boards of directors of public and private companies internationally. One of them we helped take from a startup company to $1 billion company with over 31,000 people internationally as a residential real estate company. And so I get, like Tatiana, we get frequently requested through social media and through emails all the time to mentor and coach and train and counsel and advise people. And we have to decline many of these requests all the time because there's just not enough hours in a day and not enough bandwidth, enough time in our calendars. So we created this project called Game in the World, and it's a group of volunteers that come together virtually via Zoom video conferencing. And I love to mentor and train, develop people just like Tatiana does as well with her background of being a high school educator for 35 years, multiple degrees, and bilingual in French and English. And so we play this game in the world with professionals, people that have really busy lives, really, that have no time to play this game in the world, but they want to go to the next level personally, professionally in their lives. They want to buy back time and live an extraordinary quality of life, and they want to expand their leadership. So these men and women from all walks of humanity, from all over the planet, different countries, continents, time zones, we come together and we work on different humanitarian philanthropical projects that serve Link Foundation and our partner over in Uganda, East Africa, Kids for Africa. And so we're doing a night in Africa, which is coming up on Friday, September the 18th of 2020. There's lots of hours of volunteer hours behind the scenes being put together as this humanitarian project to really serve humanity. As we know, the world has changed. There's been a major disruption in the last few months with this global pandemic of COVID, and it's ripple affected all over the planet. And it's really made a huge difference in the way of a new normal of life today. And so we got together as a collective intelligence and thought, what could we do to create a project that we could come together and collaborate? We could be virtual, we could be location dependent, but we could really serve humanity in a positive way, because some of these men and women that are with us, that are volunteers in Game in the World, their business have been impacted. They've had to lay off employees. They've had to furlough employees. They've had to shut down some bricks and mortar operations. Their cash flow has been impacted. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of worry. And rather than going into a deep dive of depression and just isolating themselves, they thought, why don't I reach out and connect with other like-minded people virtually and play this game in the world? Because there's a strength in numbers when you come together with a like-mindedness through a collective intelligence. And it really lifts people's spirits in times of uncertainty and fears and doubts and worries. And so we're rocking and rolling right now. Like, we've got incredible traction and momentum right now with the Game in the World. And we're super excited about what we're going to be doing on Friday, September the 18th with this, because 100% of the proceeds go towards supporting, which Tatiana will share with you, what we're doing with Link Foundation and Game in the World. But also, the cool thing is we're making a positive difference, and we're lifting people up during the time of need and time of crisis. Listen, we all know that people in our own neighborhoods, our own communities are struggling and being impacted. But the way we look at it with the Game in the World, the Link Foundation, is we all live on this planet Earth. And if we're up in the International Space Station looking down on the planet, there's no divides of countries. There's no different divides. We're just all these human beings sharing this planet together, breathing the same air together. And so we want to help out our brothers and sisters and our neighbors, our loved ones, no matter what country, no matter what walk of life they come from. We're all in this together to serve and make a difference in humanity.
That's interesting you mentioned about no lines. I was talking with someone about that the other day, that, I've never understood that division of lines between countries and states and cities, because it's all imaginary, but yet we're all together on this earth. So I think it's wonderful what you guys put together and what's happening. So Tatiana, tell us more about that.
So Leaders Yielding to New Knowledge, as you see, is called Leaders Yielding to New Knowledge. It's the acronym of LINK. And the bigger global picture is 10 mentors empowering 10 leaders to share knowledge with future leaders. And so we're just a startup foundation, really, but we've made an incredible amount of progress so far in under a year of being really in business, I would say, as a nonprofit. And our long-term goal is, again, the 10 million, 10 mentors, 10 leaders, 10 million a cause over 10 years, which is a total of $100 million, which is a very exciting yet scary goal for me. However, the scarier the goal, the better. And I don't know how we're going to get there. We don't have to figure out how to get there. We just get into action. And for me, action is, as long as we move the needle 1 minute a day, every day, that's progress. And so you've got to start from somewhere, because how Link Foundation came about was from one wish of wanting to make a difference and stop complaining about what I saw in Africa, coming back from a humanitarian trip in October 2018, being completely changed from that experience, crying when I came back. 2 weeks of reintegration into our abundance lifestyle over here, and I felt awful. So I said, instead of crying about it and feeling awful and feeling, powerless, why don't I do something about it? And one person at a time became a board, became a foundation, and now we have more people joining, and we're having so much fun. We have future humanitarian projects in the works. We were supposed to have a humanitarian project in October, our first one. Unfortunately, everything's been put on pause. But the amount of awareness that we've created so far, our passion, we love to build teams together. It's not just about Darren and I. Darren and I are interested in wealth building for one purpose and one purpose only: to give back. It's that simple.
Yes.
And people resonate with that. Because when I used to think about other foundations, which I will not name, I wouldn't give money, because I knew that most of my money, 90% of the money, goes towards admin and 10% goes towards the cause. That's completely the opposite with us. Our goal is to really keep it extremely small and give 100% of our donations to the actual causes. And how are we going to take care of the admin? Very smart. Entrepreneurship in the nonprofit world is just as important. So our goal is that we are going to be building an investment portfolio of income producing assets, and these income producing assets will be creating cash flow, and the cash flow is going to be paying for the admin of the foundation. Pretty smart, pretty crazy, it's just exciting. So we are, integrating business, entrepreneurship, and nonprofit all at the same time.
That's amazing. And I don't think is there anybody else doing that, or you guys are pioneers?
So we're going to disrupt that industry, because the key thing is there's a lot of people don't trust the nonprofit or charitable space around the world, because there's been a lot of fraud and misuse of funds and a lot of lack of integrity. And Tatiana and I believe that without integrity, nothing works. There's no workability. And so we're full transparency. All cards are on the table. In first quarter of 2021, we'll produce an annual report for Link Foundation, which is public. We invite people to go to link.org and follow us, because we leave an audit trail on all of our social media. So we encourage people to follow us, to like, to comment, because we're full transparency about leaving an audit trail. We want to just have all cards on the table and just let people, and also too, we encourage people as part of their discovery or due diligence to come on humanitarian trips. So when the COVID thing, it's safe for us to travel internationally twice a year over to Uganda, East Africa, we encourage people to come with us for 2 weeks at a time to volunteer their time to do humanitarian trips. And you get a chance to go walk into these villages, in Uganda, East Africa, where there's 328 people, 111 children, 60 families in this little rural village. And you get a chance to go meet these people and say, hey, listen, I watched an interview with Tatiana and Darren, and here's what they said. And I just want to verify that this is true and accurate. We give $5,000 from our family towards this Night in Africa gala, or this auction. Did the money really create a ripple of impact? Did it really go to you? Did you really receive it in the village? Or is that just all a bunch of smoke and mirrors and all a bunch of hype? So we encourage people to really ask the hard, tough questions. Even on our social media channels at Link Foundation, you're going to see some of the participants and a lot of the volunteers around the world that are, dedicating their time and their talent, their treasures to really be involved. And we ask that you friend request them, you build relationship equity with them, you build community with them, and ask the hard questions. Don't just take it from what Tatiana are saying. Do your detective work and really investigate, because we're all about creating an audit trail and doing what's right with integrity. And that's so important. That's why we're getting a lot of attention right now globally about this, night in Africa on Friday, September the 18th of 2020. It's all going to be virtual. And why with Link Foundation, we're here now in 2020 right now. We're in the first year of a new year and a new decade. And the milestones that we've achieved and the traction that the measurable progress that we've done with Link Foundation and all the eyes around the world that are watching Link Foundation and watching what we're doing in the gaming world is just incredible with what's going on. And I invite you, some of you that are watching, if you want to contribute and have an incredible experience and meet some really positive, like-minded people to volunteer your time, reach out to link.org. Just go to link.org and the contact page there, just say you want to participate in Game in the World, and one of the volunteers will reach out to you and set up a discovery call on Zoom video conferencing. And maybe you can help us with this night in Africa coming up in September. You can have an incredible experience, because we need lots of people with their time or their talent or their treasures to help make this global mission possible. And as Tatiana said, we've committed $100 million US dollars this decade. We're going to deploy that capital towards global philanthropy projects. And people can see on link.org, they can see the master plan that Tatiana explained, and it unfolds on link.org website that people get a chance to see. And so people want to be a part of with their time, their talent, or their treasure, or you might know some musicians that want some more exposure, just to have a real heart and a real passion for loving and serving and contributing to humanity. Just reach out to us, and we'd love to have a conversation with you and start that dialogue and see where we can go. Because here's something that we really believe, Tatiana and I, all we are is a network of conversations. That's all we are.
That's a good point. Yes, and you both sound so passionate and have integrity that it's not found in great combination these days. And the passion to help others, I think more people are going in that direction, but finding a organization or a foundation that represents what you two have built and are continuing to build is, I think, unique. And I feel very honored to be able to have you on our show today and be able to share this with our viewership and beyond. And, I got to thinking, based on what you said, Tatiana, is that the experience you had, I think probably the majority of people all over the world take for granted the things that we have and the opportunities that we have. And when you visit another part of the world, which everybody is a part of, as you said, Darren, and see other people that don't have that luxury, it pulls at your heartstrings, and you really want to become a part of something bigger and something better, and be that change or be that bright light in someone's life. Trevor, do you have anything you want to say or ask?
Well, I think that the things that were covered that are the most important to me are the passion to do something, which creates a drive. I mean, you will always want to fulfill that drive, and the integrity. And what you mentioned by, that there's other organizations that it's kind of tough to say that there's integrity there if the CEO just made $10 million. It's just, I struggle with that just like you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everybody should be paid for doing a great effort. I have no issue with that. But I don't think that if you're doing things for humanitarian reasons that your goal should be to become rich doing it.
Yeah. Well, and to add to that, so something, just full disclosure for everybody, because Tatiana and I are full transparency. In our personal lives, Tatiana and I are in a relationship together, an intimate relationship. We actually have our money right. we have various different revenue streams of active and passive income that we've created. And, we have monthly and quarterly financial meetings with ourselves and with our bookkeeper and accountant and things that we do. And one of the things that we focused on is we thought if we're going to go into the humanitarian or private family office, space where we're going to go ahead and do like Link Foundation, we want to make sure that we have our house in order first. Because, the saying goes that people want to go up there and they want to make a difference in the charitable space or nonprofit humanitarian space. But if you take behavior never lies. If you look at their own lives, how do they live their own lives? How does their life demonstrate? You think, oh my gosh, it's chaos. I remember I hired a housekeeper a number of years ago, and I was away traveling on the road on business doing corporate training. And I came home one day, and my housekeeper, because of my flight got delayed, I never got a chance to leave money for her to pay her. So I phoned her up and I said, listen, can I just send you an electronic transfer? And she's like, no, I don't use the computer. I'm old fashioned. I said, do you want me to mail you a check? She goes, well, if you could just drop off money at my house, that'd be okay. And so she just put it in the mailbox. So I thought, you know what, that's kind of impersonal. It's transactional versus relational. And Tatiana and I are relational people versus transactional people. We like to build relationship equity with people. So I drove over to her house as my housekeeper, and I rang her doorbell, and she came to the door. And when she opened up the door, I didn't realize that she was a hoarder. And again, I'm not looking to judge her, but here's this woman for years kept my housekeeping for my house, immaculate condition. And I went to her own house. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there was boxes stacked. I couldn't even get in the front entrance of her home. And I'm like, wow. So the next time I saw her a couple weeks later, she said to me, I need to apologize to you. I'm a professional hoarder. And she goes, I'm really embarrassed. I said, well, I'm not judging you. And she goes, Darren, I can take care of other people's homes, but I can't take care of my own home. And I wanted to make sure that in our lives with Tatiana, that we made sure that we got our money right. We were in integrity with all that, so that we came from an abundance and prosperity mindset versus a lack and scarcity mindset. Because there's one thing to go out and set up a foundation and be around various different people that want to contribute their time or their talent, their treasures. And in the conversation, we're not fully present with that other person in that intimate setting of that conversation, seeing how we can discover how they want to contribute their time or their talent or their treasures to Link Foundation, or what we're doing with Game in the World, or how we're supporting Kids for Africa. We want to make sure that we were really present, that we could connect with other human beings. And we knew that we were going to take on a big mission, $100 million US to put through this foundation for global philanthropy, starting with these different events, like on September the 18th with the Night in Africa. And I'm so proud of all the people in Game in the World, all the volunteers that pull together behind it, that make this a successful event, because we don't see behind the curtain all the manpower and women power and all the hours of volunteer work. And that's what it is to celebrate everybody as well. And just so that people get a chance to see. So if there's people that are watching that want to create someday down the road their own nonprofit group or their own charity group or their own private family foundation, use Link Foundation as a great case study, because we're full transparency, and you can follow us on social media, visit our website and see what the team has put together, which is really world-class. It's 10 diamond.
So information for the gala, people will be able to find it on the link.org site.
Yeah, you'll be able to go to our social media is the best, because our social media is the most up-to-date, because it's current and it's live, and we'll have stuff on our social media. So if you go to link.org, the website, ly2nk.org, and just start following us on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram, these different platforms on social media, and then just check in. We won't bombard you. We understand everybody's got busy lives, everybody's qualifying their times, and we'll give you education and inform you with great information. And also we encourage you too, if you've got children or grandchildren, nieces or nephews, we highly encourage you. This is a safe place for you, the children or grandchildren or your niece or nephews. You'll learn things from following our social media channels. Our dedicated team of volunteers that Tatiana coordinates, they spend so much time behind the scenes collaborating virtually to make sure that we benefit people. And Tatiana, what's the word that we come from when we talk about first world, second world, and third world? What's the word?
Ethnocentrism.
Yeah, you may just want to elaborate on that just so people get an understanding of that.
Well, coming from North America, we do things that we are not aware of because it comes from misinformation or we're not educated in the area. And so I have an archaeologist on my team, and she's my ethnocentric researcher. And so she's taught us that even using the term first world versus third world is demeaning. Think about that. Who's to say that it's the third world? We made up that title. When you go to Africa, they don't consider that they're living in the third world. They're just living. And when you go to Africa, my goodness, the connection with the people and the pride and the warmth and the happiness with what is so, and they just deal with it and they just do whatever it takes, and they have positive outlook, and they're warm and they're friendly and they're inviting. You know, that's one thing I noticed when I went there. I was like, wow, if North American people had this attitude, you know, my first world problem is their best problem, you know? And so we often speak in ways of, we are not going there as heroes. No, that's not what we do. We have no intention. We just have intention of going there to help empower people, just to empower, to teach them to become even better leaders that they already are. Because Uganda is one of the top countries in the world in Africa that promotes entrepreneurship, and they're very strong with that. And so Kids for Africa is the first cause that we're supporting. Eventually we'll be supporting 10 causes, but you have to start with one cause. And right now, what we were doing before COVID is we were helping them, supporting them to build a high school. From there, you extend it to a long-term plan of a 30-acre sustainable community where we help empower, teach entrepreneurship, get the kids, the staff, the teachers, the parents, the community, everybody's working in this 30-acre community to make it self-sustainable. We walk away and we press repeat in another region.
That model needs to be implemented in the United States.
It's almost too late.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
the goal. That's the goal.
That's an awesome goal. Yes. And, you know,
But unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to pause. So we put a complete pause. And right now, unfortunately, it's not like us. We have food banks, we have food stamps, we have churches who help us because they have a lot of donations. It's not like that over there. They live every single day to live the next day. So right now we've had to pivot. So right now we are taking care of the 60 families, which include 111 children, which is a total of 328 people. And right now our focus with the gala is to actually sustain them to keep living during this COVID period. And we provide food for the month along with soap, basic soap, so that they can survive the next couple of months, because they don't know how they're going to do it. And it's not because they don't want to. Trust me, one of the people on our team is a photographer, has a successful business, and a videographer, but he can't do that. Another one of the team members has her own taxi business. She can't do that. The founder of Kids for Africa, can't run his classes like he usually does. The coaches can't teach. The coaches who are primary teachers can't teach, can't make a living. So everything's on pause, and their lockdowns is a lot more severe for them than it is for us. Not that there's not people in North America that are suffering. Don't get me wrong, but the percentage is a lot different over there. So no one's coming to help them. No one. So we are focused right now on keeping them alive.
wow.
So food, water, soap.
Yeah, not water, food, basic food, and soap, because they have access to water.
Yeah.
Well,
In
that's
fact, in
good.
Uganda, East Africa is actually similar to like where we live in Vancouver, Canada. They get a lot of rain. They have rainy seasons over in Uganda. So there's never a shortage of rain. Like, clean sanitary water is a big thing, right? Because, wells and having to walk there. But their biggest thing right now is being in a lockdown is these are people that, they live for their next meal, right? They don't, like in North America or parts of Europe or Asia, they plan a few days in advance. People in North America, 78% of the North American population live paycheck to paycheck here in the North American continent. Over there, people live every 24 hours. They live day to day. And the challenge is when you put them into a lockdown situation, government lockdown situation in Uganda, forces them inside, they don't have that freedom to move around. And it's very controlled by the military, by law enforcement over there in Uganda, East Africa. And so the challenge is there's consequences and there's curfews. And so what we've done with Link Foundation and with our volunteer team of Game in the World participants is we've thought, how can we serve these people and make a difference? Now, it's only temporary that we're doing this emergency preparedness plan. And then once the government lockdown lifts and it's safe within the people to travel around the country of Uganda, then we're going to pivot within Link Foundation and Game in the World to going back to unfolding and developing the phase 2 of the master plan of the 30-acre sustainable community and building this new high school. And that's rewarding for people with their time or their talent or their treasures, is people that help us with our different events, like we're doing with a night in Africa, or people want to volunteer, come play with us with Game in the World, or people want to put us on other podcasts or things through Time, Talent, or Treasures. We get a chance to serve and make a difference. Like you probably, listening to us, Eileen and Trevor, our energy is infectious. It's contagious with Tatiana and I. Now imagine you being around the whole Link Foundation family, global family, all of us 100% volunteers. Nobody's on any payroll. We're 100% volunteer, dedicated people with our time, our talent, our treasures. And imagine how this energy compounds and multiplies. We got people from all walks of humanity, from all parts of the planet. And we come together through a collective intelligence to serve and love all over humanity and make a contribution. And we have a lot of fun making a difference. And we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable with what we're doing in terms of making things happen, because we believe in a mission and we're all dedicated to serve that mission and make a contribution and make the world a better place.
That's awesome. And, the ripple effect is very profound. And it sounds like that's exactly what you guys have created in a very short period of time. And it's amazing. Yeah. So just imagine 10 years from now, how big and powerful and successful it's going to be for the vision that you have.
Yeah.
So I also want you, Tatiana or Ingo or Darren, share a little bit more about the gala, because I know you're having a silent auction and you're going to have some musicians, and I think you're going to have some speakers. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, you bet. So we're still finalizing all the specific details for Friday, September the 18th, and we've got some surprises. We don't want to tell everybody everything, right? We want to make it fun and people have curiosity and wonderment and discovery, and it's kind of like we want to make like a birthday. Like today's my birthday, actually. Today's my real birthday doing this interview. But we want to make like a Christmas day or a birthday and have surprises, things like that, and wonderment. And that's what makes life exciting, right? It's not always knowing all the details. And so the date right now, we want you to mark on your calendar is Friday, September the 18th of 2020. And we want to encourage you to follow our Link social media, because we're going to unveil and unfold some things over the next couple of weeks and as we get closer towards the September 18th date. And we're going to have a silent auction. It's going to be online, virtual. You can access it everywhere. And we ask that you contribute, you donate with some of these stuff. We've got some people from all over the world that are contributing things for the auction. And also those of you watching, if you want to get some exposure and some visibility with your product or service, reach out to us through link.org and we'll put you in contact with our Game in the World team. And one of our volunteers will reach out to you and see what you can do as an offering for our online gala. You may know some talented people that we could potentially look at as candidates to be part of this, or live entertainers. And we want to have some things like maybe even some people that fire walkers, or people that do things that like kind of like AGT, America's Got Talent, the world's biggest talent stage. And I think personally there's some people that may be watching this, or you may know of a family member or friend or relative or somebody you follow on social media. You may know somebody who's been featured on America's Got Talent. And maybe they didn't win the grand prize, but they got pretty far down the track. And maybe they, in their heart, they want to serve humanity. They want to make a difference. They want to attach themselves to a foundation that's making a measurable difference in the world, like Link Foundation. Have them reach out to us or put us in contact with them. We'd love to have that discovery and conversation with them, and maybe showcase them and feature them on a night in Africa. And we've got lots of great things planned this year in 2020 and 2021, and we're just so excited about everything that's going on. We're incredibly organized behind the scenes. So right now, you're thinking, well, you're not giving us all the details. Just trust the process. Come start to follow us and get curious about what we're doing with Link Foundation Game in the World, and you'll have so much. If you're having a challenging day or a stressful day with your kids, follow us on social media. You want to inspire your employees or inspire your kids, follow us. because we're up to some really big things here to really make a big difference in the world. And we're having a lot of fun and making a big difference in people's lives.
And we're unfolding the gala as we go along. You know, we're planning it as we go along, and it's incredible how things. It's just I used to be a teacher for 35 years. I can have the perfect lesson plan, and then I go to teach it, and I got to pivot and switch according to what's happening in the class. So that's what we're doing. We have a general idea for sure. It's well organized so far, but you know, we might come up with ideas at the last minute, and we just pivot and adapt and change, and it's going to be all perfect, and it's going to just work out just as it's supposed to work out. But you won't
totally
be disappointed.
That.
It's going to be professionally done, really well planned, and you'll have fun, and you won't be disappointed. That's really the most important thing, right?
Exactly. Yes.
It's going to be very entertaining, a lot of fun, great energy. And it'll be well worth your time. Absolutely. And so
we're looking forward to see this progress.
Yes, yeah. And when the final day comes, because it sounds amazing and the energy behind it is phenomenal. And it's been great having you guys on here to share about that, your vision, your passion, and to make a difference in the world. And it sounds like that one person at a time is growing by leaps and bounds and becoming a true community. And that's really what it's all about. So any last words before we close?
I want to actually ask you to send me some information about your television show and everything, so that I can actually make a social media post about having done this podcast with you guys and promoting you guys, and that we were on this show with you, so I can promote it through Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn with my foundation. So I'd love to do that. Make sure that we do that after, for sure.
We're also going to be
the time
on this video. Will also be all the contact information that you gave us. So there'll be screens on there for everybody that wants to get involved and wants to check it out and see if they want to get involved. They'll all be there for you at the end of the video to be able to know where to go.
Thank you. Appreciate your time. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, just remember.
Thank you.
All we are is a network of conversations, human being to human being. We're just a network of conversations. Anything you want, anything you need, anything you desire in your life is going to come from strangers. But we're taught as children, don't talk to strangers. Right now with this COVID-19 thing, we're taught to social distance and self-isolate and disconnect from other human beings because human beings are unsafe. But just remember, all we are is a network of conversations. And if you want to be around some people where you want to have some fun, go on an incredible journey and experience and adventure, come hang out with us. Come get around the Link Foundation global family and be part of some of our fundraising initiatives, be part of maybe some of our humanitarian trips. Follow us on social media, or like or comment or repost or reshare social media. And come if you want to volunteer with doing different things, with copywriting, to our social media team, to our Game of the World team. Just go to link.org and reach out to us. And just discover that conversation. Maybe you're someone who's got some great talent or energy or ideas or connections or resources or skill sets that you just want to serve, and come with us, because we can multiply those talents and treasures and make a big difference in people's lives. And you'll meet some extraordinary people from all over the planet, from multiple different cities and countries, who are just want to serve as good servants. They're go-givers, not go-getters. And people with really big hearts and really love all over people, want to make a difference. And you'll meet a global village of like-minded people. And who knows, in the next couple of years, you might want to get a chance to travel with some of these people on some humanitarian trips and get a chance to meet some of these people face-to-face sometime in the next couple of years. It's a lot of fun. So we invite you to come check us out.
Yes, it sounds like good intentions and a wonderful opportunity for anybody who's watching this and beyond. So thank you, Tatiana and Darren, and we will see you again soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you.